Hello everyone and welcome to StudyIQ. I'm Dr. Mahipal Rathod and today we have with us Civil Services 2019 Rank 10, Miss Sanjita Mohapatra. Sanjita ji, welcome to StudyIQ.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So Sanjita ji is from Rourkela, Odisha, and she has cracked this exam in her 5th attempt. But the story of that 5th attempt is quite interesting. We'll get to her entire life journey till today. And we will also be asking her about her mains prelim strategy, what kind of preparation she did, how did she prepare while working, she was doing a job. So first of all, Sanjita ji, please tell us something about your family background and where did you do your school education from?
I basically belong to Rourkela, Odisha. I have completed my schooling from Rourkela itself. My 12th was from Bhubaneswar. And then I did my mechanical engineering in from CET Bhubaneswar. I passed out in 2012. I cracked Steel Authority of India Limited. There was a separate exam way back in 2012. I joined in Rourkela Steel Plant, Steel Authority of India Limited in 2013. And there I worked for 5 years. I have an elder sister. She is working in BHEL Bangalore. She's a manager. My father had an on and off kind of a job. He was in the informal sector. So there's no specific thing he did. He was into business, then didn't work out. So it was always kind of a struggle for my father as well. My mother is a homemaker. So we are a small family of 4.
So you are an engineer and you had a very good job with a PSU. So what made you attempt the civil services in the first place?
Civil services was my childhood dream, you can say. When I started writing what's the aim of your life, I used to write to become an IAS officer. So the journey was not that something which started midway. It has been a childhood dream. So I was always focused on that. Everything else which came into the line were just pieces falling in place and they were not planned. What was planned was me appearing for UPSC and cracking it.
When did you start your journey for UPSC preparation? You started appearing while you were working?
No, I started my preparation journey after I started engineering. In 2008, I joined engineering. In 2010 was when I first started reading newspapers, having a knowledge about current affairs. I belong to Odisha, so way back in 2010, there were not huge amount of material available. We did not have any kind of peer group. The craze which you see in Delhi and all, you absolutely absent in Odisha. So it took me 2 failed attempts, which I took while I was in college. I gave 2 attempts just to understand the nature of UPSC. What does it come? That time internet was also not that easily available. I remember we used to go to cafes and all to chat, to use Gtalk and all. So there was no access of internet as well. So that's why I did not understand what's the need and what is to be studied. The first book I bought for UPSC was that Tata McGraw-Hill. A thick book used to come for general studies. That was my first book for UPSC. I read only that. So slowly I understood, and that's how I progressed.
So you attempted the exam while you were in college, and I don't think that you would have been even eligible at that time. So didn't you kind of waste your 2 attempts in college?
One of my friends was giving, and he said, I told you I did not even read the UPSC notification there. So I just filled the form, and he said there are 6 attempts. You don't worry, you can always clear sooner. So you can just go and try out. So it was just I was very naive, you can say, and I was just trying to understand the nature of the exam. I thought I can crack it, but when I went and I studied and I gave the exam, I realized no, there's need of more detailed preparation. So it was a wasted attempt.
Okay, I think there's an important lesson here for all the college going people that if you're planning to attempt your exam, then do your preparation, then attempt it. Do not waste an
Yeah.
attempt. You never know,
Yeah.
you might need it later for improving your rank or something. So
Yes.
right after finishing your college, did you start preparing for civil services full time or you went for a job?
No, I passed out in 2012 and then I joined 2013, I joined the job. So I did not start right away because I had certain financial obligations at home. I had something, family issues. So I had to settle down everything. I gave, but the 5 years were spent on building my foundation, you can say. If I cracked it in such a huge way, all the credit goes to the 5 years of small preparations which always went on. I read NCERTs, I read numerous books, I made my foundation strong. So there was a complete strategy which I followed for the years I worked. So that helped.
Uh, did you ever think that you should quit your job and prepare? And since you did that, what was the breaking point, or what was the clinching event that led you to that led you to that decision? Because leaving a PSU job is not a very easy decision.
Joining the job was a very logical step I took after my graduation because I earlier mentioned I had taken an education loan. I had to settle that. My father never had a stable job. My sister was working and she was taking care of the whole family. So I had to share the burden. So immediately going for UPSC would not have been possible for me, that I do not earn something because I had to settle my parents down. My father was having serious health issues as well. So me and my sister both took the responsibility to settle down my parents. We got my sister married, and then I even got married in 2017. So these were all family obligations which I had to finish. So that's why I did not immediately go for UPSC, but the preparation was on. The breaking point would be, there's no more the thing that you PSUs have no more work to do. You can always take a study leave and all. People do, but I couldn't do because I am very ethical in that. I always thought that if I want to do something, I should give my 100% to it. वो दो नाव में पाँव रखे वाला thing was not working for me. I was into a very important project and I had to give my 100%. I had to justify my salary. So when I got married in 2017, I had my parents settle down. So that is when I thought, no, this has been my childhood dream. I have to put in all effort that I can to fulfill that dream of mine. If I don't take that step, then I would have a regret for the rest of my life that I did not give myself a chance. So it was a very difficult decision. It took a complete year. I was established, you see, it was 5 years of my working, so I was completely established in my organization. So it was very difficult decision, but it took a lot of courage. But then ultimately, I am here in front of you. So I think it was a good decision then.
Definitely, your decision did pay off. So you resigned from your job in 2018, right?
Yes.
You attempted the exam in 2018 and 19, preparing full time. So what was the result of 2018 cycle? Till where did you reach?
There I failed mains by 7 marks. So I couldn't qualify mains. I found that the basic problem of mine was I couldn't concise my resources and I couldn't revise. So that led to me not qualifying mains that year.
And where were you preparing from? Did you go to Delhi or any other metropolitan city and prepare from a coaching institute, or did you start with self-preparation?
No, I have always self-prepared. I was staying at home. After prelims, I used to go for 3 months to attend the mains test series where I used to sit there and write the exams. So that gave me a boost. So I usually used to go for the gap between prelims and mains.
Okay. So you went for test series. Apart from that, you haven't taken any classes. You have prepared everything by yourself using the materials that are available.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have completely done my preparation through internet. Internet is the greatest sathi, you can say. YouTube has so many platforms, and I took a class. I have an optional of sociology. So for that, I did not have any background. I took Upendra sir's class, offline class of 3 months in 2017. So that was the only coaching I took. Others were all test series, all prelims, mains, interview, all test series I had taken.
Okay. So as you said that internet helped you quite a lot. Don't you think that there is an excess of materials out there on the internet? So how did you focus on the resources that you deemed were worthy, or how did you choose the resources? Did you watch any previous year's toppers interviews just like this, or you relied on the normal book list that is available everywhere these days?
No, actually, you're right. I saw many toppers interviews. They give on, actually, it helps. They tell you specific sites. You are absolutely correct. There's 2017 and 2018. These 2 years where actually the biggest problem was I had too much of resources. I had like everything with me, but I just couldn't complete and read everything. So that helped me in not qualifying that year. So that's why reading toppers interview, getting in YouTube helped. Actually, I see, when people have so many comments and there's so many viewership, you realize that there's a good material available. So YouTube, it took me around a year to filter out. Actually, to be frank, it took me a complete year.
Okay. So it took you a year, but ultimately you could narrow down your resources and then prepare by
Yes.
yourself. Okay. Okay. So 2019 attempt. Let's talk about prelims. As you said that you had already written mains once. So what was your strategy for the 2019 attempt for prelims specifically? Did you solve multiple mock tests, or did you just revise your notes? What was your mantra to crack the prelims?
For prelims, my mantra was repeated revision of specific books I had read. Of the syllabus was my holy Bible to go to. I would have that with me, have specific books related to that, and my own notes. I used to make extensive notes. I am a note person. So, own handwritten notes, I had that, and solving many test series. I would solve daily quizzes which are available on many platforms on internet. Second is I would solve prelims test series, all whichever is available freely on the internet. So I solved around 60 to 70 test series. The span of 2 months before prelims is exclusively for prelims. I don't do anything for mains on that 2 months. Only revision of the standard books. Getting your base clear is what is very important, and solving repeated test series and the solutions which you solve after giving the test series. The important points I used to again note down for further revision. I learned the art of note making after a long time. You write so much in the view that मैं पढ़ लूंगी in future, but जब पढ़ लूंगी वाला time आता है, you feel कि इतना लिख लिया है कि I can't study. So many students have written to me, ma'am, we made Evernote notes, but they have become so huge that we can't revise. What do we do now? Okay, that is how you learn to make it concise so that you can revise. So that helped me actually. Concise note making and repeated revision. That worked.
So were your notes also digital, or did you prepare notes on paper?
They were both. I had digital notes as well as and handmade notes. Both.
All right. Coming to mains, what was your strategy for mains? Since you have already prepared your notes, again, was the focus on revision or writing as many mock tests as possible? And also, did you write 2 or 3 questions daily, or did you practice entire test with 20-25 questions every week?
My focus in mains was, I said you earlier, syllabus, GS1, topic uthaya, and then I will have at least 3-4 page ka PDF or a note where I have certain starting material to write for that specific topic. If any question, imagine inclusive growth. So I'll have 3 pages on inclusive growth, so that any topic, any question comes, I have some standard answers for it. Then second would be, I had standard syllabus wise, I had all the notes with me. And mock test, my idea was weekly once a syllabus would be given. I would finish that syllabus, revise it, and give a proper test, a 3 hours test on a weekly basis. I did not used to write daily. I used to write weekly.
Anything special that you did for essay paper?
Essay papers, I have always been good in essay since childhood. So it's like a hobby for me to write essay. The specific thing it can be, you can, I saw an interview of AIR1, Anudeep sir of 2017. So he gave very good tips. So that helped me a lot. I prepared standard essay topics: health, education, women issues, governance, politics, like write down some of the quotes, some taglines, some basic statistical data, some problems which we face, what are some of the innovative solutions which can be advised. So those were there for very broad topics which I revised, and I wrote around 12 to 13 essays before mains. That is very important to all the people who are aspirants. Do not take the essay paper lightly, because that is actually scoring. You write 2 3 essays and then you go back and say that I'll do well. That doesn't work. The practice which I did for the essay for this 3 4 months, that actually helped me a lot in improving, because you get a feedback, then you improve on your writing skills. So that helped me a lot.
Regarding ethics paper, how did you study for ethics, and what was your approach for the case studies?
Ethics paper, I many people don't believe, but my everyday schedule was, morning was dedicated to GS 1 2 3. I would read alternatively every week. I have a weekly target. I make targets for weeks and read. And second half was focused on my optional. I gave my optional 1/4 of the time. The second half, around 2 to 3 hours, were dedicated to my optional, and I would finish the day with GS4. Every single day I would read maybe 10 15 pages of the standard book lexicon, and after lexicon got over, I would bring up material from the market available on case studies and solve them, make mind maps how to approach a case study. So every single day after prelims, at least I have read GS4, because I know it's a scoring paper and you can do well in that. And thirdly, I think that GS4 is actually a reflection of your personality. That is something you cannot read. It is, how ethical you are, how do you have a perception. So that helps, that reflects your personality in the paper. For case studies, my approach was, I had multiple approaches. There was there's no stakeholder approach will be the only one, or long term, short term, medium term. It depends on the question. You can go through the questions of 2019. They were very different. They were not particular case studies which we have been doing for a very long time. They were very different kind of a questions. So you can never predict what UPSC sets as question. So that takes the element of surprise was there. So UPSC, that's how ethics is a dynamic paper. What you can do is read every day. I had notes of specific ethical terms which I used to revise, so that can be used in your answers to enhance the quality of your answers. And keep a touch with ethics. Don't leave it for the last month and read it and go back and write in the exam and come.
Regarding your optional, how did you study? As you said that you took a class for that, but after that, regarding answer practice, what was your approach, and any tips specifically for sociology optional aspirants for this year?
Sociology, if you don't have a background, it's good to take a starters course if you can afford it, you have the time. Because I would frankly say Upendra sir's class, he is a professor in JNU. He teaches as if you don't know anything about sociology. That is what helped me, because other teachers who were available, they would teach you as if you already have a base in sociology. So it did not help. So that built a very strong foundation of mine. Second is, I prepared extensive notes. I had my own handwritten notes, which I have published on the net. I have circulated, I have provided to everyone. Those were the basic foundation on which I kept on value adding. The current questions everyone asks, how do you link current affairs to sociology? That is the repeated questions which are coming nowadays. When you continuously read sociology, you get a sociological bent of mind, and then you will be able to relate. Like the domestic violence which is going on. The UN said it's shadow pandemic. How do you relate it to patriarchy or male chauvinism, all domestic violence, violence against women? So that will come when you keep on studying. That's why I said that I study my optional every single day to keep a touch with it. If you completely leave optional, as it is not, if it's not your graduation subject, you tend to forget. So always read it. How will you write thinkers, or how will you link current affairs? That will come with practice. For answer writing, for the first year in 2018, I joined a test series that helped a lot. When you write answers, you realize how to present the answer. All your knowledge has to be concised. So that helped. Even in 2019, I again joined a test series for the same. So the test series helped a lot. I wrote around 10 to 12 tests. If you join a test series, please attempt all the tests. That is how you'll improve. So writing answers is very important for giving the sociology optional paper.
Coming next to the interview portion, you attempted your interview for the first time in 2019 cycle, and you must have aced it, obviously. How was your overall experience of the interview? Where you asked about current affairs? Was it based on your job profile or graduation subject? Please tell us about your interview.
My interview was based on Odisha specifically. So it was mostly about it was after the pandemic, so it was very different kind of an experience with a face mask, face shield. You can't even see the other person. There was fog, so it was a very new and unique kind of an experience. The questions focused on pandemic migration issue, because Odisha had a huge migration. Then people were coming back to Odisha, so they asked me on that. They asked me on olive ridley turtle, which is a very famous animal in Odisha. They asked me of the women's status, and it was then focused on my optional sociology. They asked me why child labor, why the presence of so much of orthodox mindset in the society, why education has not percolated to the lowest rung of the society. So I think in interview, what they focus, you should be very thorough, at least on your home state. That is very expected of you. They really expect that you know everything about your home state. At least a broad view should be there. And optional. I was not asked questions on international relations, because then India-China, India-Nepal issue was a very burning topic. I wasn't asked about that, neither about COVID. So those topics were not touched. Mostly it was state and sociology.
Now, since you have got top 10 rank, how do you feel? Did you expect that you would be in the top 10, or what was your expectation after giving interview?
Uh, when I came out of the interview room, to be really frank, it was such a quick interview. I felt I called up my husband and I told him that I'm sorry, yaar, this time I'll not be in the list. So he consoled me and said, "Don't worry, you come back, we'll have a discussion." I came back home. I tried to calculate my marks and then tried to compare with last year marks list, and then thought, "Nahi, 400-500 mein rank to aa jayega." So I was expecting in the range of 400, 500. So when the results came out, it was my husband who first saw, and the first reaction he gave was, "Oh shit." And I asked him what happened. He said results. So I did not ask him anything. I thought I was not there in the list. So he said, "The name stopped in the first page. I did not even have to go to the second page. You are ranked 10. So I did not believe him for full 15 to 20 minutes. And then it took around a week, or more than a week, to sink in, because you never expect in a, you are in this field for such a long time. You know how unpredictable UPSC is. So I never thought it will be ranked 10. So it was a shock to me, I can say.
Going into the services now, any expectations, any particular field or areas where you would like to work as an IAS?
No, I have no such preferences. What I want to work is, I want to be at a place, go to the ground level, understand the ground realities, because every place is unique. Every place has very unique problems. There are basic problems which people face: sanitation, drinking water, sewerage, education, health. It can be just anything. I want to focus on those 3-4 things which will make people's life better, so that when I leave the place, they can say that I improved a certain part. So that would be my focus. There would be no specific area, anything which is of problem to the people.
So it was great speaking to you, Sanjita ji. And at the end of the session, would you like to give any message to the aspirants who are preparing for UPSC right now or who are going to appear next year? Please go ahead if you have any message for them.
To all the future aspirants who are looking, seeing me now, I'd like to say, coaching is specifically, there's nothing important that you don't have to do coaching. Did self-study. Yes, it was a long journey, but I am here with a AIR 10. There are many websites on YouTube. StudyIQ, I am a follower of StudyIQ as well. I have been following it for a very long time. There are many platforms where you can get all the data. Just filter out the good ones. And I always say hard work has no substitute. UPSC demands your determination, focus, prepare well, have patience and perseverance. If you put in all your effort, it will always work out. And don't falter in between. And those who cannot qualify, there's not always success stories. You have chosen a very good background. You have gained a lot of knowledge. Use it for the betterment of the society. All the very best to all of you. You all can do it. Just have faith in yourself and strong willpower. You'll be there. All the very best, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sanjita ji, for taking out the time for us and our platform and our viewers. We wish you all the best from the entire team of StudyIQ, and we are sure that you will become a very good and upright officer. With that, we would like to end this session. Thank you everyone for watching this.